But it's clear that Keyshawn is the most talented out of the three brothers, and he looks sensational. He looks
So look at
sensational. I was very impressed. I've seen a couple of his performances, so I was just like, okay, I'm waiting to see more. That was awesome. That was awesome execution in the middle of the combination. He threw a left hook to the body that really just paralyzed the guy. It turned his punches over. They was crisp. They was accurate. Um, his eyes was on the guy the whole time, so he was able to kind of like pick them off. And that guy is not easy. And then you got the comparative with him and the kid from New York. He just did much better. So that was awesome performance with looked at him and I said, wow, that was impressive. You kind of see it when the guy's ready to go to the next, excuse me, the next level. And
in the same time, Keyshawn Davis calls out Gervonta Tank Davis. Um, when you look at the guys that and the pedigree upon both fighters, you see one that has more of a professional, has more experience in the professional, but then you have a silver medalist in the same time. How is this fight per se for the people to say demand these type of fights to happen for a guy like Gervonta Tank Davis, or is it just like you believe that he hasn't done enough for the radar for Gervonta Tank Davis?
um, knowing everything I know about boxing, I just don't think it's gonna happen like that.
Okay,
That's not the era for that. You know,
too much
with the
business.
investments that there's too much business with the investment that the teams make. I couldn't see either team risking that. The fighters can say whatever they want. Keyshawn get knocked out by Tank right now, it'll ruin his brand. And if Tank lose to a guy like Keyshawn that's only 12-0, was that people going to question everything he did in his career and talk about how favorable his matchmaking was his entire career, and it's going to discredit his career. He can't even risk that. And Keyshawn, make no mistake, he's a dangerous opponent. He got pedigree. He was the better amateur than Tank. I'm not saying Keyshawn will win. I definitely, because I wouldn't pick anybody against Tank at 135. But it's a real fight. It's a real fight. That kid is confident and he act like he knows something. And I just I just know about boxing, man. That we don't have the era for that. You just gotta just reprogram your mind to just believe in that it's a lie. The best fighting the best. That's not true. It's not gonna happen in this era. The big names fight the big names when it's profitable for the people that's putting the money up. It's no such thing as the best fighting the best. You gotta be like Earl Spence, where he like demanding, I'm fighting Terrence Crawford. I don't care what nobody say. That's the only way these fights can get happen is gonna happen. And you know what I mean? Props to Earl Spence for doing that because that fight would have never happened if he didn't do that. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, you know what I mean, I just don't think the fight can happen like that. It would have to be like 3, 4 years from now, running out of opponents and both guys getting 20, 30 million for the fight to happen. It's not gonna happen. People might get mad and they saying I'm a pessimist. We'd be talking about this time next year. Taking Shakur, according to the fans, should have been for it. They're not even close to fighting. Teofimo. You know what I mean, Devin? None of these fights ever happen. And people can't say it out loud, but you really know why. Like, it's just not worth it for the people that's invested in these guys to take a chance and fight a 50-50 fight against a dangerous opponent when your guy can get the same amount of money because the split is different. You know what I mean? You could pay a lesser guy, less percentage of the split to take a 80-20 fight. Why would you do it?
Yeah. So you believe the biggest fights today will be made by the fighters and not the promoters?
The fighters literally gotta like be ready to fire their team. Like, I'm telling y'all, this is what y'all have to do, or I'm getting a new team.
Mm.
And here's the problem with that. If you lose, then the people that invested in you are gonna throw it up in your face and say, what are you paying us for? We told you not to take that fight. Did you see what Bob Arum The statement he made about Jared Anderson publicly. You ever see a promoter do that? He told him, "I told you not to take that fight. Now your career in a different place." I've never seen a promoter do that, but he wanted everybody to know. I didn't tell him to fight him. He chose to do that, and now he got to pay the consequences. So that's
Yeah, he
what
said
keeps
that
fighters.
Turkey showed him money that he never seen before. When you look at that fight, even though you feel like it's not going to happen, for the boxing fans, when you look at like those type of matchups, the Keyshawn Davis silver medalist, but then you got like this thumping power puncher, very like devastating fighter like Gervonta Tank Davis. How do you go about like as a betting man picking a fight like that? Like, what's the smarter way to go about it?
Um,
Because like pros are pros.
um, honestly, man, a lot of the times you just go with your instincts. You go with your instincts. You watch them. You watch them up close. And what I will say is that Keyshawn closed the gap between him and some of the top guys. I watched him fight a kid named Nair Albright, and I was like, oh, okay, he's good. He's not knocking my socks off. I watched him fight another fight. I heard a couple of his comments. I was like, Dad, what is he talking about? I watched him real good the other night, and I left really impressed. That was an impressive performance, man. Dude came in 6 pounds overweight. I got to get a kid his props. That was nice. He looked like Bud. That was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice. I give him his credit.
Do you feel like because he's demanding it so much, when you look at it like a Gervonta Davis's resume, is there anybody at that IQ skill level of a Keyshawn Davis? Do you think, or you think
One
that
thing.
Keyshawn needs some more work to be called the top guy on Gervonta Tank Davis's resume?
So you asking me, is Keyshawn Davis better than anybody that Tank's ever fought?
Right.
Um, he has more talent,
Talent.
but that don't always. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Frank Martin could fight. I
Yep.
think he's a good fighter. You know what I mean? Just because he's a good fighter. You know what I mean? Ryan Garcia is a good fighter, but I think Keyshawn probably got the best combination of pedigree and talent. You got to do it in the ring. Tank ain't no joke. You got to do that in the ring and deal with the traps that he's setting, how fast his trigger release is, how explosive he is, how he puts you in a position to make you open up and then he counter you. Tank is like almost on like a savant level. I personally would just like to see if he could do that stuff to the top guys too. I want to see him do it to the guys with the talent and the pedigree that he has, like the Shakurs, like the Keyshawns, like the Tiafimos. I'm waiting to see those fights too, but I'm just telling you, they're not gonna happen. Not all of them, maybe one, but they're not. They're